All right. Well, good evening and welcome to our presentation tonight. This is Scott Nelson up here in beautiful Spokane, Washington on what is today? Gosh, the days have just been flying by. It is the 12th of December, just a little over a week until Christmas, and about 2 weeks till we hit New Year's 2014. And I want to welcome everybody and many of our guests here tonight from all over the world that are taking the time to watch our Thursday presentation, our team presentation for Karatbars, and our 12-week plan to financial freedom and $4,500 per week. It's exciting to have you here. Now, most of you are here tonight for two reasons. Number one, you are already involved and have joined our team with Karatbars International, and others that are listening in that are invited here by our team members or by an email that you might have received are probably people much like ourselves that have at least had some sort of a suspicion that something was not right with our US government, our economy, and of course, our dollars. And if you're like me, I've been watching this now for many, many years. I started back about 5 or 6 years ago to begin to acquire some precious metals. I started to buy some coins, some silver eagles and American eagles in gold and silver, and not a lot of them, but I started to realize that our nation, even back as far as 5 or 6 years ago, and I know it goes way back further than that, I started to kind of awaken and realize that I needed to pay attention because one thing that I did know that was happening was that our US dollar was each and every year, each and every month, simply possessing less and less purchasing power. In fact, after I did some research on the US dollar, I realized that over the last 100 years, 100 years sounds like a long time, but really it's not a long time. It seems like a long time, but do you realize that over the last 100 years, our US dollar has lost 97%? And I'm sure it's probably pretty much the same thing for the Canadian dollar because they're so closely tied together in value. And of course, I know the economy in Canada isn't much better than it is in the United States, but 97%. Now, what does that mean for us today? It just means that that what you go, even though you take out a US dollar out of your wallet or your purse or your billfold, and you look at it and it's supposed to be worth a dollar, in all actuality, that same dollar just a few short years ago that was truly worth $1 is now worth in purchasing power about 3 cents. So people always ask me, why has everything gotten so expensive? Why is it so expensive to go grocery shopping or to fill up my car with gasoline or to take a vacation or to buy an airline ticket? Well, the reason that it is that it's not the goods and services that cost more money because actually manufacturing costs are actually down, and growing technology has even made it less expensive for the farmers to actually grow our food and raise the livestock. So why is it that when you go to the store now and you spend $100, you only get 5 bags of food? When you used to go spend $100, you used to get 10 or 15 bags of groceries. It's simply because the US dollar is in a state of decline. And most experts, people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, Robert Kiyosaki, Peter Schiff, and Mike Maloney of goldandsilver.com are all saying the same thing. Most of the people believe that our US dollar will be completely gone and dead in the next 12 to 24 months, depending on who you want to talk to. But we do know it's a fact that our US dollar will be no more, as well as other currencies of the world. Very shortly, we will probably see a new world or a one world or regional world currency introduced. And I can promise you that unlike our US dollar today, the new currency will indeed be a gold backed currency, much like the US dollar was back up until 1971, when then President Richard Nixon decided to take our country off of the gold standard. We instituted a non-government company called the Federal Reserve, and we authorized them to start printing money whenever we deemed it was necessary in order to pay our debt. What has that done today? Well, it's given us a currency that is depreciating right now at between 1 and 2% each month, which means you have 1 or 2% less buying power every month, or 20 to 25% less value to buy with your US dollar at the end of the following year. It's not a good place to be. So people have woken up to this and realized that our US government, just our government alone, has run up a debt of nearly $17 trillion, which we cannot repay. We can't even make the interest payment on that debt. But the debt of our entire nation, the United States of America, is now nearing 60, that's right, 60 trillion dollars. So why am I sharing these facts with you prior to going through our 12-week plan to financial freedom? Well, the reason I'm sharing this information is because we have to immediately take action if we are going to hedge against the death of the US dollar. I was talking to several people and listening to some very, very good financial experts, economists, and even biblical prophets. And they were all saying that most of them, the consensus is that we will start to see the new currency introduced in the next 11 to 24 months. I personally believe we will see the introduction of the new currency in 2014 or very early in 2015. So we all have a choice. We can continue to allow those dollars that are depreciating. We call it fiat currency because it's not worth the paper that it's printed on. There's nothing that backs the US dollar. You can't take it into the bank and exchange it for gold like you used to prior to 1971. And so we have to make a choice to do something to not only hedge against the inflation that we're living under right now, extremely high inflation and rising cost, but we also have to protect our assets and develop ways of generating wealth from home. And if we don't do that, we are going to be in serious trouble because if you look at the history of countries like Argentina and Zimbabwe, and most recently Cyprus, when their currency has been devalued like it has. In fact, in Cyprus, not too long ago, many of you, that would probably be the most fresh memory of this, it was depreciated at 87%. So people that might have had $10,000 in the bank at Cyprus, suddenly in the middle of the week, the banks just closed for 2 weeks. They didn't make any announcement. They just locked the doors, turned off all of the ATM machines, so people had no access to their money. And when the banks reopened 2 weeks later, I believe it was around 2 weeks, their money had been devalued by 87%, which means that $10,000 was now worth $1,300. And there's nothing you can do about it except to protect yourself by right now begin immediately to simply exchange and trade your depreciating and devalued US dollars and exchange it for 24 karat pure 999.9 LBMA gold currency, which has extremely high value that will protect your assets and will last you and your family a lifetime. When there is no US dollar and you need to have something to purchase some food or gasoline or electricity or something like that, Karatbars Gold 99.999.9 gold currency is now accepted as currency in 12 states here in the USA and over 20 countries around the world. That's why people that are smart, people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett made a statement, I think, about 2 weeks ago, and he said, I'll never invest any more money into the US dollar. It's dead. Bill Gates recently divested 50% of his cash and started to invest in gold mining. And so, if you don't think that these people know what they're doing, then I have a different thing that I'd like to share with you. They do. And the money is moving out of dollars. Just look at China and Japan. They no longer trade for their petroleum in US dollars, and they've started to exchange and purchase things in the Chinese yuan and of course the Japanese yen. And that's happened many years ago with the formation of BRICS. If you haven't heard of BRICS, that's Britain, Russia, India, South Africa, and India, and they are now trading their own currencies and no longer using the US dollar. So if all of these people like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett that we know are not in the US dollar anymore, and then these countries like Britain and India and Asia and uh, Japan and South Africa are no longer using the US dollar, does that tell you that what I'm sharing with you is really a pretty good reason for alarm? Well, with Karatbars International, we're going to show you a way that by working together, we're not only going to be able to start to hedge against the depreciation and the devaluation of the US dollar, but we're going to show you a real 12-week plan, a minimum of 12 weeks to get you to $4,500 per week minimum. We're going to show you how to receive perpetual free gold for the rest of your life where you never have to pay for it again. And we're going to show you a way to add a substantial amount of wealth to your portfolio. Now, I do want to say that the income projections and the action plan that you're going to see tonight uses simple mathematical examples that are dependent on you following the plan exactly as described. And of course, the results can vary based on your activity and the activity of the people that you work with. This business model is going to encourage you to get in the way of money and capture a piece of it whenever it's moved. We're going to show you how to create an income producing assets simply by getting paid weekly residual income and to be rewarded for saving. You're going to receive currency grade LBMA, that's London Bullion Gold. It's 999.9% pure. And we're going to show you how to simply get that gold by trading and exchanging your worthless US dollars, your paper currency, for gold money. And by doing this, you're going to be adding one of the very best collaterals, the highest quality collateral to your financial statement. The company is called Karatbars. It was actually founded in 2008 over in Stuttgart. At that time, it was called KB Gold. And in 2011, the company, under the leadership of Mr. Harold Seitz, the CEO and founder of Karatbars International, brought this company into the public specter with the one goal in mind: to provide people an international gold money that was affordable for every person in the world to be able to purchase, or as we call it now, exchanging our US dollars into small, affordable weights, 999.9 LBMA gold by the gram. See, the problem is with a tremendous problem now is it's just been really brought to the forefront recently. When I started to collect gold and silver, I bought minted U.S. Silver Eagles and gold American Eagles. I bought some Canadian maple leafs. I bought some Krugerrands. And now it is a bit of a scare for people that have been doing that, because the governments of Canada, the United States, South America, and Asia have just announced that all minted coins, gold and silver, are legal property of that particular country's government in where they were minted, which means to you that it could be that when the dollar and the economy dies around the world, that the governments can demand the return of what they call their own property, even though it resides with you. And certainly One of the wonderful things about Karatbars is we own our own mines. We own our own refineries, and so we're able to produce these small amounts in pure 24 gold or 24 karat gold currency. And we are using a new concept that's simply rewarding you for saving and not spending your money through an incredible affiliate rewards program that enacts a 12-week strategy that will accelerate your earning power. It creates incomes quickly. I mean, it is amazing for me. I look at what we've been able to enjoy in our first 2 weeks, and it's mind boggling. And we give you a gold acquisition plan, a gold savings account that's going to teach you how to use 4 timeless principles and 3 simple techniques that are going to allow you to change you and your life and your family's life forever. These 4 principles simply state that every economy is dependent on the movement of money that equals the marketplace. The frequency, volume, and the velocity of the movement will reflect its health. We're going to give you a system to capture a piece every time money moves. And we're going to teach you, most importantly, I think, to pay yourself correctly every time money comes in. Now, of course, the movement of money, velocity happens when you get paid, when you spend money, when you go to the bank or the ATM machine, you buy goods and services, and then, of course, whenever you invest money. The velocity is how often you do it and how you personally control your earning power. If you do it the correct way, you're going to have a rapid, a high velocity, powerful stream of income coming in, as the picture on the right. If you just stick your dollars in the bank or stick them over under your mattress at home and try to hold on to something that's getting depreciative every single day, every single month, and every single year, you're going to look like that picture over on the left-hand side. We're going to actually move money towards us. Did you know that 95% of the entire world only control 5% of the wealth, but yet the truly rich, the wealthy, the Bill Gates, the Buffetts, and Robert Kiyosaki's and the Robert Soros and stuff of the world control 95%? That's because they know the secrets of the wealthy. They have a system that captures a little piece of money every time it moves. And they know how to pay yourself correctly every time you touch money. The way you pay yourself correctly is when you get paid, whether it's a paycheck or whether it's through a business that you're involved with or whatever, whether it's retirement funds, a 401k or whatever, you want to pay yourself first. So you want to take a 20 or 30% piece, the first 20 to 30% of that money, and you want to turn it into something of value. In this case, turning and exchanging that worthless paper currency for something of intrinsic value. You take those 4 money secret principles and add in 3 new skills, which are paying yourself a minimum of 1 gram of gold per week, simply involving yourself in a mathematical equated compensation program that could show you, simply by following 3 simple steps, a monthly income based at your starting level in our dual compensation plan. And we're going to go into our compensation plan a little bit more in detail tonight. A minimum of 15,000 up to $136,000 per month. And you control your earning power from the moment you start, because you'll determine what package you want to start with. And the wonderful news is it doesn't matter. This income is not affected by what the price of gold is. This is a program that is simply focused on a 3-month burst of energy and effort that can change your life. It will change your life. I promise. It's changed ours. We have nearly 100 people that have joined in the last 10 days, and it's starting to change other people's lives right away. Now, there are 3 very important financial skills that create the action plan of what we're doing with Karatbars International. First thing is to select and acquire a business marketing package. There's 5 of them to choose from, and we'll cover those briefly. That will determine the amount the maximum amount of monthly income that you can earn based on the 12-week plan that we're talking about tonight. Secondly, you will move or acquire 1 gram of pure 24 karat gold currency every single week into your savings for a minimum of 12 weeks. And it's my hope that you'll be acquiring gold, because we know that we're going to also show you, as part of this incredible compensation plan, what we call perpetual free gold within as little time as just 4 weeks using this system. And this certainly is the correct way to save and move money, by simply exchanging and trading paper money into gold. And then lastly, you're going to find 2 others in your first week, just 2 others, not 2 others every week. Find 2 other quality people that will do the same. And if everybody does that same thing, look at your income range in just 12 weeks minimum. It's absolutely wonderful. And we use the power of compounding and leverage. And did you realize that if you double a penny for just 31 days, starting with 1 copper penny, that at the end of 31 days, your income is going to be over $10 million? Is that worth it? Do you understand now the true power of compounding? By following this simple plan and these simple steps, you are going to use the power of compounding and leverage to create an income that you've only probably been able to, or may not have ever been able to, dream of. Simply enroll and create a free Karatbars account. That's right. You'll get your website. You can become a customer or a free affiliate. There's no charge to do so. But if you want to participate and unlock the power of our dual compensation plan, you will immediately acquire a package. It's a marketing package, and they start for as little as $135 and go all the way up to $10,000. So isn't it cool to know that everybody has a price point that they can join this incredible plan to succeed? And the minimum, if they follow this plan exactly, in just 12 weeks of time, even beginning as a bronze entry-level member, could generate a weekly income of $4,500 per week, each and every week. That's definitely taking the financial principles of compounding and leverage and putting it to work for you. And then, of course, step 3 is always to acquire a minimum of 1 gram of gold weekly. Now, you can buy 1 gram a week. You could buy 2 grams every 2 weeks. You could buy 5 grams every week. It's up to you. But pay yourself a minimum of 1 gram per week. We like to exchange enough for 5 grams at a time, because the price is about $15 less per gram when we buy it in 5 gram increments. But that's completely up to you. You're simply going to pay yourself 1 gram of gold. You're going to move money from your paper into gold. And then in your first week, just find 2 people that will do the same. Everybody does the same thing, and that creates incredible success. In fact, here's that entry-level bronze package for only $135. And that's a one-time, that's right, it's a one-time fee of $135 to join. And you can upgrade to our top package, which will give you a completely maxed out compensation plan from day one. But look at what happens in week 6 at the entry level package. By following this plan, your perpetual free gold will happen for you at week 6. But look at week 12. If everybody follows the system for just 90 days and doing exactly what you started, and when you enrolled your first 2 people in your first week, you worked with them, they did the same thing in their first week, that happens for 12 weeks. The mathematical figures do not lie. You'll be earning, as a bronze level entry, you'll be at $4,485 each and every week. Get excited about that? How about for another $150 becoming a silver package, which is, if I had a choice between the two, there's no absolutely no question that you want to spend the extra 150 if you can, because you're also going to get a bonus 1 gram of gold of that 999.9 pure gold, and perpetual free gold will begin at just week number 4 if everybody does their work. And look at, instead of making 4,400 a week, how about 4 times that amount of income at $17,250 a week? Up for more activity and wanting to work harder? How about our gold package? That's the level that I started at. I got 2 grams extra of free gold in that marketing package. And the income potential that I'm enjoying now in 12 weeks will be over $25,000, over $100,000 a month with the gold package. But by far, if you can do it, the VIP package is by far the most popular and gives you the maximum compensation potential with our 12-week plan, nearly $35,000 a week. And if you want to join, like many do, most people do that can afford to, obviously, because of the income being so much greater and the bonuses that you'll see in our compensation plan, you'll know why. We're also going to give you a coupon, which will give you a 100 euro discount. That's about 135, 140 US dollars to bring the cost of this package down even lower. Now, to enroll, of course, it's free. You're either going to become a free customer if you just want to start a gold savings account, don't really care about making any extra money. Maybe you just want to buy some gold, start swapping your depreciating dollars. Doesn't matter. Your accounts are always free, regardless of whether you want to be an affiliate or just a customer. And of course, the aha moment when we swap our paper and the gold is, the truth is, nobody's actually spending money. I'm not going to have something that depreciates in my life anymore. I'm merely going to exchange the paper currency in my left pocket and stick that real gold money over in my right. So what do you need to do right now is you enroll. You select the package that you want. Okay, the enrollment's free. Then you select the package, the bronze all the way up to the VIP exclusive. That opens the vault to our dual compensation, which I'm going to spend about 10 minutes on here tonight to really get you worked up and excited here right before bedtime. And of course, you're going to pay yourself each and every week by acquiring a minimum of 1 gram of gold. Getting paid is simple with the incredible money card from MasterCard. It's a personally logoed Karatbars MasterCard. It was voted the highest design award of the year for the entire nation of Europe. And every Friday, your dual compensation in your binary will pay weekly, and your Unilevel compensation pays you monthly. And it's absolutely incredible to tell you that before you know it, we're going to actually be able to have the option of not just having our earnings loaded onto this card, but we'll actually be able to take our payments, if we want, in gold. Can you imagine that? Now, if there's ever been a hedge of protection protecting us from the collapse of the US dollar, the Canadian dollar, the euro, it's going to be to actually take your earnings in actual real 999 pure gold. Right now, all of your commissions are loaded onto your MasterCard money card every week. You can use that to purchase your gold each week or to make purchases from our online stores. And of course, our beautiful gold cards that you see there, the gold cards, they come in 3 different increments. They come in 1 gram, 2.5 gram, and 5 gram cards. So your first money movement activity after enrollment is to acquire either the bronze, silver, gold VIP and the exclusive VIP, which gives you another 2% discount on all of your gold purchases. And of course, remember, people ask me, there are some differences in compensation, and the package that you choose, the higher level, obviously will give you a higher earning potential. And hesitation can be hazardous to your health, so avoid lost earnings from the dual team system by upgrading as quickly as you can. If you have to start like at a gold like I did, I'm getting ready next week to upgrade to a VIP because I've already earned well over the difference to upgrade in my first 10 days. And you can upgrade, let's say you start at the silver, you can upgrade to the gold as soon as you want. You can upgrade from the silver directly to the VIP or the exclusive VIP. And one of the things I want to talk to you about in the compensation portion of this tonight is some way to actually, we call it double dip the system. I'm going to show you that. Okay, your second money movement activity, of course, is to pay yourself each and every week. It's a weekly activity, 1 minute. Now, I want to clarify, don't worry about it if you don't, let's say you only get paid twice a week and you want to just do this twice a month or once a month, then just make sure that you're buying a minimum of 4 or 5 grams of gold every single month. It's most of the time it's easier for people that are swapping X amount of dollars to do it on a weekly basis, but we recognize that, of course, everybody is different. And the third is to simply do what other people do. If they see you do these things, they're going to do exactly the same thing. Your responsibility is to enroll your 2 people in your first week, if possible. If you don't do it, it's just going to slow that 12-week process down. But you definitely want to make that commitment to do that as quickly as you can. And the best way to do that is simply ask people what they're doing to protect their family and their friends and their loved ones from the fall and the collapse of the United States dollar and the U.S. Government and economic system as we see it collapse around us right now. And if they don't have a plan, let them know that you do, and it's a safe plan that is going to protect them. It will keep them free from losing their pensions and their 401ks. It's safe and secure, and the government can't touch what we have. Thank you, Lord. And it's simple to do. So just ask them to take a couple of minutes to watch a short video on your Karatbars landing page. Or if you want, write down that little 3-minute sizzle call. It's Joe Norman, and some people like to listen to it because it's a 3-minute overview that talks about this 12-week to $4,500 a month in income. Okay, so it's really, really easy to do. We have a great system. The plan works if you merely team up with just 2 others, and when you do team up and you hold each other accountable, then that they'll do exactly what you do. Everyone does the same thing. They're simply moving their money into savings, except they're not moving it in the worthless US dollar or Canadian dollar. They're moving it into 24 karat real gold currency, and you get paid every Friday morning. Now, the bottom box is the one I want you to pay attention to because we have been doing a couple of these team, we call them team 12-week webinars. I've been hosting them, but thank heavens I don't have to do them for a whole lot longer because we're growing so fast, and I'll start to do maybe 1 or 2 trainings for our team each week. But Karatbars at karatbarstv.com, write that website down, karatbarstv.com will provide you daily, 7 days a week, with 2 live webinars at noon Eastern, that's 9 a.m. Pacific, and in the evening. Following this webinar tonight, you can get onto one of the live webinars, and those are at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 Pacific, 7 days per week. People that are working this plan are doing amazing things. Record-breaking growth, sales, and incomes. You can get in and get started tonight. What you need to do before we jump over to the compensation plan is to get back with the person that got you here. Get yourself started. Talk to them. Get your questions answered. For those of you I invited, you have my email address. At the conclusion of this presentation, I'm going to try to open it up for anybody's questions tonight if it works. So stay on board, and in about 5 or 10 minutes, we'll jump over to some questions. But if you do get started right away, you're going to experience the growth of our team. We pay it forward. We help one another. If you need help getting your 2 people, we can facilitate that. We've got incredible marketing tools, lead generation. We will make sure that the person that enrolls you will absolutely make certain that they work with you so that you can get to that 12-week goal with a focused, concerted effort. And in just 12 weeks, you'll be free, not just 12 weeks older. So I wanted to really quickly jump over here into our pay plan, because if you want to access this and take a look at it for yourself, it's Karatbars, that's with an S, Karatbars payplan.info. That's Karatbars payplan.info. That's INFO. And you'll get this exact screen. But I wanted just to touch on some of these things here. There's our two great videos here. You definitely want to go through. The one on the left comes from the company, and then one of our upline team leaders has put together some additional compensation information on this video here. That's about 16 minutes at karatbarspayplan.info. But this is what I wanted to show you under the dual system that we use. When you purchase your package, you are going to not just have the free Unilevel affiliate program. We're going to add the most powerful dual team affiliate program that I've seen in my 39 years. We're going to take all of the people that you have introduced to Karatbars as a free non-dual team member. And if you are purchasing your package tonight, we're going to automatically get you paid over here to infinity on all of the gold and silver purchases, up to 26% through this system. But also, we're going to create a very powerful dual team system that is going to start paying you weekly, while your Unilevel continues to pay you every single month. Now, these are why the packages are very important for you to understand. You can see that we don't really list down here the bronze entry level package, the 135, because it's not a real popular package. Really, to be honest with you, it's there so that if you are really struggling financially, you can afford to get started. Okay, if that's the only way you can start, that's the best way, because it gets you into the game. But it pays a 5% direct commission. And when you go through the cycle here, which is every time there are 50 units on either the left team or the right team and 25 on the other, it creates a pay cycle. And if you are a bronze level member at 135, you will receive a 5% direct commission on any packages that you sell, plus €10 per cycle, which is about $15 in US funds. Now look what happens when you jump up to the silver package. With the silver package, you're going to get a Karatbar of gold thrown in. This is about $340, but look at, instead of 5%, it doubles up to 10%. So let's say you enroll a VIP member for $2,000, you're going to earn $200 here. And if you were a bronze member, you would earn $100. Here, every time you cycle, instead of getting $15, you're going to get 3.5 times more as a silver member at $50 per cycle. If you join at the gold package, this will jump up to 15% direct commissions. You will receive 2 grams of 24 karat gold, and you will also notice that you will receive €60 per cycle, which is about 75 US dollars. So you see the difference between 15 up to 75. And then, of course, the best way to get started, if you can afford it, is to take the bonus savings coupon of 135 US dollars and get your VIP package, because you're going to max out the compensation. Had a friend of mine that joined as a VIP, sold his first VIP today and made $400 just in upfront commission. And every time you cycle as a VIP, you jump all the way up to 100, or approximately $100 per cycle. Not to mention that when you come over here and you look at our Unilevel, your points that will accumulate will get you to a rank each month. The points are accumulated for every single euro that is spent in your entire downline organization. You will accumulate 1 point. For every 100 euros spent in your organization for the month, that will equal 50 points. So you can see that your first level, when you join, you don't have any points, so you're a distributor. But when you get 200 points, which really isn't very much, you become a supervisor and you work your way up to where you can max out. These are generational bonuses. They pay to infinite levels deep, up to 6%. Now, there are people that have organizations after just a couple of years of 50,000 people, and they're overriding all 50,000 of those people. Let's just say that they're spending $100 a month on gold. If you took that 50,000 people in that organization after 2 or 3 years, that some of these people, and you multiplied that times 100, that would be $5 million. Imagine that times 6%. Your income would be over $300,000. Now, that's a long way up the road for most of us, but I can tell you that in our first month, we went to bronze supervisor, so we started getting a 1% override. This month, we'll jump up, I believe, to either gold supervisor or bronze manager, and you'll see that we'll go from 1% and go up to either 2.5, and maybe, depending on how the month finishes out, 3% override, and that's just in our first couple of weeks. So you can see the potential. Then you add in the potential if you are a VIP member. Eventually, we'll all be VIP members because we'll upgrade, and you can add 26% to all of the different purchases that people can make. And you'll also be acquiring units. On every purchase made, they will go over here. And remember that 25 and 50 on left and right cycles to create additional income. It has been amazing. Let me just show you here in my back office. You know, we've been working hard, and this is what I want you to know. Now, we have been doing a pay it forward campaign, and we do that with people, but I really have wanted to supercharge the growth of our organization. Okay. And so I actually gave about 30 enrollments thus far away to people that are just getting started. So I didn't get paid on any of those upfront bonuses at 15%. Only a few of the people that I sponsored myself. Now, that if you add that together, that's somewhere around $1,500 to $2,000 in package purchase bonuses that I did not realize. But it was more important for me in these first several weeks to help people to succeed. But even so, you can see that I have already a pending Unilevel payout of 291.76 euros. I have a pending dual payout of 1,104.44 euros, and commissions this week are already at 180 euros. That gives me a total of 1,576 euros. Now I'm going to show you something. I'm going to go up here and go to a currency converter. You can do this at home. It just merely converts. I'll go to XE. It's one of the best. I just go over here and I type in the amount, 1576.20 euros, and convert that by clicking on the little arrow into US dollars. And look at in the first 10 days, without any of the commissions, that other $1,500 to $2,000 that I gave away, the income potential in just the first 10 days. Now that there's obviously people that are going to make a whole lot more because they're going to get there too, and they're not going to have to pay it back or pay it forward. And I know one person that just joined that will probably put in 40 to 50 people in the next 2 weeks. And if you average, let's say $100 per package, because he's a VIP, and he does 40, that's $4,000 $4,000 in income. So the potential with Karatbars is unbelievable. You have a compensation plan, but this is just some of the ways it pays. Okay. I also want to let you know something that you may not know, but if you go back into Karatbars and you click, I think it's the incentive report. Let me see. No, that wasn't it. I'm sorry. Let me just get rid of that one. I know where it is. You have to go back up here to the top and you go to your home page. And then when you come into my account to get into your dashboard, you'll see at the very front page of your dashboard, as soon as it changes, you'll see where it says incentive report, or maybe it's up here under commissions. Incentives, there it is, under commissions. Now look at this. I'm talking about the money right now, but look at what happens. Every time you sell, or anybody in your entire organization, any leg that you personally, these are my 6 legs right here. These are people that I have personally enrolled, and this is the total amount of gold grams bought in each of those legs in the last 10, or for the month of December. Right now it totals 60.5 grams. Well, they take that and it continues to accumulate and accumulate and accumulate. And they have different levels. You never lose that. Okay. So when you have accumulated 1,000 grams of gold in your legs, your organizations, you're going to be given a gold plated iPhone 5. And if it comes out where it takes you a year or two and there's an iPhone 6 or 7, it will be a gold plated iPhone, the newest model. Then the next level is 3,000 grams, which isn't much. They give you an all expense trip over to the Middle East, to Dubai, to some of the most incredible gold mining and refining facilities in the world on a 5-star trip. All expenses paid. The next level is 10,000. It's a mega trip on a $10 million yacht, a luxury yacht that they'll take you on a private cruise with your significant other. Then you go to 25,000. They give you a bicolor gold Rolex watch. Then you go into the car bonuses at 70,000 grams, 160,000, and then 350,000. They start you at a standard like a 300 series Mercedes or a 200 series Mercedes and a 3 series BMW. Then you go up to the 5 series as a deluxe, and then Ferrari Testarossa or Lamborghini when you reach 350,000 grams. And then finally at 1.2 million, now that might take us 10 or 20 years, who knows? But as we grow, guess what? They'll build you a luxury villa and give you the keys anywhere in the world. So these are just over and above everything else. If you don't think you're in the right place with this company, then I can tell you, you're missing the boat. I have been involved with companies and I've looked at compensation plans over the last 39 years, and I've never seen anything like this. So I hope that this is kind of maybe to kind of help open your eyes a little bit. If you didn't do anything other than just call the person or email them back. If I invited you here and you want to get started, all you need to do is just email me to Spokane Gold Rush at Gmail. That's Spokane Gold Rush at Gmail. If somebody else invited you, then email them or call them and let them know you want to get started, because we're paying it forward. We're helping people, and it's truly an amazing opportunity. If you don't really care so much about necessarily making money, that's okay too. I'm going to encourage you to sign up for free. Don't worry about buying a package. You'll have a free position in the Unilevel. You won't have any access to the dual compensation, But and you want to do that if you can, because you're going to get tons and tons and tons of people over the next few years that are falling down below you in that binary. But if you don't want to do that, that's okay too, because I want you to start a gold savings plan. Because every one of you, I'm looking at the people on here, with the exception of just a couple of people, I know almost every one of you. And if you want to do something right, maybe many of us for the first time in our life, you want to start swapping now and buy gold every week, every month, as much and as often as you can. In fact, I was talking to a guy that writes a column for the Washington Post, and he's also very well known on the internet circuit. And he said, his exact words were, he said, Scott, the only thing you should be doing, or anybody should be doing, is look at what you have to come up with every month for your mortgage payment, your insurance, your food, anything that you have to either pay electronically for through your bank, or write a check for. Everything else should be out of paper. You shouldn't have anything sitting around the bank, because what's going to happen, he said it to me today, he said, they're going to close the banks unannounced. Then it's going to be devalued currency time, like Cyprus, Argentina, Zimbabwe. And when they open back up, whether it's 3 days or 5 days or 10 days later, whatever you had in any paper investment, stocks, 401ks, retirements, is going to be depreciated according to what the dollar is worth. They'll give you 30 days at that time. 30 days from that time is what he's saying. And let's say you had 100,000 in a retirement program and they depreciate it by 50%. Now that is worth 50,000, not 100,000. And then they'll give you 30 days to swap that in to the new currency, whatever that might look like. Now, this is why, believe me, I'm preaching to the crowd, because I have had times when I've had several thousands of dollars just sitting over there in the bank, not doing anything. I didn't need to have it. It wasn't going to be paid out that month. And if I would have started with what I'm telling you right now, we would not even be having this conversation tonight. But here's the good news. We have a very limited window, and you do not want to get stuck. So what I want to do here real quickly, if anybody, and I'm not sure how you do it, but there should be a little place where you can raise your hand if you have a question. And if you have to have a microphone so we can hear your question, either a head mic or a built-in mic. Just go ahead and hit the little hand, and that would show me that you have a question. There's no dumb questions. We want to get them answered. So if you want to, there's a hand right there. So that looks like Len, and hopefully, Len, can you hear me?
Can you hear me? I can hear you, Scott. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, Len, what's your question tonight?
I'm just wondering, what is the current price of a gram of gold?
Well, if you look at the LBMA market, I'm going to mute you back out because I'm getting some feedback. Hold on. Len wants to know what the current price is. If you go, probably the best way to get it, it's not LBMA, it's a Swiss PAMP gold. If you buy it through some of the online brokers, remember that most of your gold and silver brokers only sell the Cougarans and the Silver Eagles, which is not anywhere near the value or the purity of 24 karat pure bullion, or what they call gold currency, Len. But if you were to buy PAMP Swiss, which would be a little lower grade than LBMA, and you bought, I think you have to buy 100 grams of it through AppMex last I looked, and it was about $55 per gram. So if you buy a single gram, just 1 gram or 4 grams or 5 grams, right now the price is around 64, I think, 63. But if you buy the 5 gram, it will drop that price all the way down to $50 per gram, because in a 5 gram piece, you're paying around 249 US dollars for 5 grams. Does that answer your question, Len?
Understood. Oh, yes, so that's the price for buying it from Karatbars?
Yes, if you buy it from Karatbars, you're going to be paying around 63 to 64 per single gram. And if you can buy it in a 5 gram Karatbar, you'll get that price down to about $249, which is about $49.75 per gram. Does that help you, Len?
Understood. Does that help you, Len?
Is that
Yeah, Scott. And like say, can we buy it like once a month and like buy the 5 grams at a time? Would that cover us for the month?
absolutely?
Absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Anybody else have a question tonight? Just lift your hand. There's looks like Joe Curtis. Let me unmute you, Joe. Joe, can you hear me okay? Joseph Curtis, can you hear me? Joseph, can you hear me? Because I can't hear you. It means you must be muted on your mic. Okay, Joseph, I'll come back and check with you. If you can get unmuted, I can hear you and we can hear you, because right now I cannot hear you. Anybody else have a question? Okay, there's Steve. Steve, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I hear you, Scott. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, Scott, this question is somewhat just peripherally related. You have mentioned or alluded to the fact that there may be a coming financial crisis, and let's say savings in banks, the value may decrease by 50, 80%, and so on. What is your impression as to what will happen to a mortgage that one may have in a bank? Will the dollar value of that mortgage go down?
Yeah, that is an incredibly astute question from Steve, because I just heard that on an interview with one of the leading economists that was talking about, he's actually the gentleman who heads up the board, or the gold, the people that are in charge of purchasing all of the gold for the nation of Singapore. He's an American man. He's one of the most accurate, and he's in his 70s, accurate projectors of gold prices. And they said to him just that same exact question, Steve, was, what happens if we do have this devaluation? And he says, it's not a question of if, it's just when. He said, well, what about mortgages? Will they just be adjusted and forgiven? And this guy said, unfortunately, that's never been the case. The US government will probably find a way to lock you in at the dollars owed, even at the old rate. Since when you signed the mortgage contracts, the dollar was estimated to be worth what the mortgage was written for. Now, of course, Steve, I don't know that for a fact. In fact, I don't want anybody to go away from this call thinking that that I have answers that are definitely going to happen. I just keep my ear tuned to the people that are experts, the people that do follow this, and that's exactly what they're saying. So it's going to be very interesting to see when the dollar is officially dead, when it's devalued, what they'll do with the mortgage. That's just going to be a matter of time. You know, a lot of people have been talking and asking questions. I sent out an email today because I've been following it closely. There's several different digital currencies that are now popping up on the market. Probably the biggest of those is called Bitcoin, and we've done a lot of research on Bitcoin. And the problem with any digital currency really right now that's out there, there's about 3 of them, is really twofold right now. Number one is it has no intrinsic value, which simply means that there's nothing backing any sort of a digital currency. Doesn't mean that there won't be a digital currency introduced at some point in time that would be gold backed, most likely, or precious metal backed, like the US dollar was up until 1971. But with no gold standard for digital or non-digital currency, there'd be nothing that would prevent the collapse of that. For instance, I have a friend of mine that bought some Bitcoin. I bought some Bitcoin, and it jumped up. One Bitcoin jumped up to over $1,000 almost overnight. And just in one day last week, it dropped all the way down to, I think, $600 US. But even then, it's really a digital currency. There's no way that you can cash that in at this present time. And if it was cashable, and you could take a Bitcoin, a digital Bitcoin that you mined or whatever, and you wanted to actually cash it in, there would be a run on it, and of course, it would collapse immediately. So I think it's a great idea to have a digital currency, but the biggest problem, and the second and the most common problem is that with all of the solar flares and the solar activity and the atmospheric problems, everybody knows that the internet will probably crash very rapidly. In fact, they say the internet could be gone for 30, 60, 90 days. Of course, the government could shut off the internet today if they wanted to. So if we were using a digital currency like Bitcoin and there was no backing to it and you had no access because the only way you would be able to access your account would be online, then of course, what would you do to survive for food and gasoline and to pay your bills? So I think that there's going to be some interesting times ahead with what's coming, and we just don't know for a fact what's going to happen. Steve, do you have any other questions? Steve, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, this is unrelated, but if I need help getting set up with an account, Scott, what is the best email to reach you at?
You can email me if you want to get your account set up, and I'll get you placed in the right position at Spokane, Spokane, Gold Rush at gmail.com. And Steve, just include your phone number and the best time to reach you. If I don't get with you tonight, let me know tomorrow in the morning. I'm on Pacific time, so anytime I'm available, anytime after 8 o'clock tomorrow morning up until about 1 tomorrow afternoon Pacific. Or I'm going to take a short dinner break because I have to do a guest appearance on a webinar tonight in about 2 hours, but I could buzz you back around say 7 or 7:30 Pacific, which would be 10 or 10:30 Eastern time. So include that and your phone number in your email. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much, Scott. I think that's all from me. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Steve. Anybody else have any questions? You can just raise your hand and I will go ahead and try to answer your question. I think, Steve, I think you said that you were already done. Anybody else that has a question, just raise your hand and we'll get them answered. I hope that we did a good job tonight. We covered a lot of territory. One thing that we do is we don't only do these webinars. The company does 14 of them a week, but we also do a training about once or twice a month, and we go through in detail. We've got some incredible marketing campaigns that we're starting up. We're going to be doing a direct response campaign, a co-op that will begin in January, right after the holidays. And then we'll also be doing a big voice broadcasting campaign. For those of you that like to use voice broadcasting, I know my friend Mark on the call tonight has used it. I've used it for years. It is absolutely probably one of the quickest ways to get your words out. So please be ready for incredible wealth generation. Remember, our goal is on our team is to pay it forward to help people. We want as many people to get to that minimum of $4,500 per week in 90 days as possible. So please don't forget that. All right, any other questions? This will be our last call. If you have any questions, just go ahead and raise your hand and raise your hand if you have any questions. It looks like we're good. Let's give it one last call. Just any questions. There's no dumb questions. If you are going to get started, do that right away. Get to the person that invited you. Get them there. If it's me, email me your contact, your phone number, and I can reach you tonight before the 8 o'clock Eastern or 8 o'clock Pacific webinar that I have to guest on. Okay, let's see if we can get with Joseph here.
Hello?
Hi, Joseph. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I got you, Joseph.
Okay. When you mentioned earlier, or maybe on a previous webinar, about taking possession of the goal, how does that work when you, as far as taking possession?
Yeah. That's a great question, because one of the nice things that Karatbars does, Joseph, is that when you order your gold, they will store it for you. They'll hold on to it for you for free at no charge. And the reason that they do that is when they send your gold, it's all done. They're a business partner in Europe with Fedex. And so everything is videoed, all of the packaging and shipping directly from our Fedex facility over in Denmark, over in Germany, and over in England. All of the shipments that come from Karatbars to you will come via FedEx. And if you do the pricing, it's around $20 to $25 on a Europe to USA or Canada package. So obviously, Joseph, if you were going to go in and say buy 1 gram of gold at say $63, you would not want to have them probably send that 1 gram and pay another $20 or so. So most people choose on a monthly or a every other month basis, depending on what you buy, to accumulate maybe 5 or 10 grams and then have it sent to you via FedEx. Otherwise, when you order your gold, it's always going to ask you whether you want storage or you want them to ship it. So you'll always have to specify on your order. I hope that answers your question okay. Joseph, do you have any other questions?
Not from no.
Okay, thank you, Joseph.
Not now. Thanks a lot.
Okay, last call. Anybody else? Any questions? Just raise your hand. If you have any other questions, this will be our last call for questions tonight. And I will be doing another webinar, I think, on Sunday. I'm going to be heading out for the weekend, Friday and Saturday night, up at some friends of ours' cabin. And so we won't have a webinar. I may, depending on what time we leave tomorrow, I may have a midday webinar tomorrow, because we've had an incredible amount of interest of people wanting to join. Also, for those of you that are on here tonight that will be joining, we want to make sure that you know that our team is committed. You know, part of the 3 steps we were talking about was to immediately, in your first week, if possible, introduce your first 2 people that want to do this with us as a team. And if you get hung up and it takes you a little longer, then we want to help you. So we have the advertising and the marketing pages, the advertising campaigns, the co-ops. And if you really get into a pickle, we want to make sure that some of our members are willing to maybe enroll that 1 or 2 persons for you, but you will then be required to pay it forward to help 2 other people. We don't want anybody to think that we're advertising a free ride here with our Karatbars and our 12 weeks to $4,500 per week. All right. Well, I've enjoyed this time tonight, and we'll look forward to catching up with you soon. If you have any further questions that come up, feel free to email me those, and I'll get back to you right away. God bless everybody. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you at the top with Karatbars International.